But first, the parents of Gabby Petito will face off against the parents of BrianLaundrie in front of a jury. Gabby's parents, Joseph Petito and Nicole Schmidt, are suing, claiming Chris and Roberta Laundrie knew all along that their son murdered his 22-year-old fiancée. The trial is set to begin on August 14th, 2023 at a Venice, Florida County courthouse. You may remember Gabby went missing in late August while traveling with Brian on a cross-country road trip. Her remains were found in Teton National Park in Wyoming on September 19th. An autopsy revealed she was killed by strangulation. After Gabby went missing, Laundrie returned to his parents' home in Northport, Florida. On September 13th, he disappeared, and his parents said he went hiking, and they said that he never came back. On October 20th, Laundrie's skeletal remains were found in Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park, also in Northport. Alongside him, a note claiming responsibility for killing Gabby. And now the Petito parents are going after the Laundrie parents with damning allegations. Among them, that BrianLaundrie told his parents he murdered Gabby on August 28th and were making arrangements for him to flee. The lawsuit saying, quote, while Joseph Petito and Nicole Schmidt were desperately searching for information concerning their daughter, Christopher Laundrie and Roberta Laundrie, were keeping the whereabouts of BrianLaundrie secret. And it is believed we're making arrangements for him to leave the country. The lawsuit also alleges Roberta Laundrie blocked Gabby's mom's cell phone and Facebook when she repeatedly pleaded for information regarding the whereabouts of Gabby. The attorney for the Petito family has said publicly that the family is seeking $100,000 in damages, saying they suffered pain and mental anguish as a result of the willfulness and maliciousness of the Laundries. Meanwhile, the Laundrie parents already filed to have the case dismissed, calling the lawsuit frivolous. Joining me now to discuss, Dave Aronberg, state attorney for Palm Beach County, Florida. Dave, thank you for being with us tonight. You know, I've read the lawsuit. I have read the motion to dismiss, and I think obviously most people, Dave, would agree that morally and ethically, what the Laundries did during that time to the Petitos was not right. But the question I have is it against the law, and will it actually stand up in a civil lawsuit?
Yeah, good evening, Brian. And this civil lawsuit will be difficult for the plaintiffs to win. They're going to be fortunate if they could survive a motion to dismiss, and that is a motion that the defense here, the Laundrie parents, have already filed. And when you do that motion, the court assumes all the facts to be true, and then the question is, did the plaintiffs here, Gabby's parents, state a legitimate cause of action? They're saying that it's intentional infliction of emotional distress. Well, to have that, you need a duty and you need a breach of that duty. You need causation and damages. Let's go to the first one, duty. What is the obligation here? And the defense is saying, hey, they don't have any obligation to volunteer any information. And so that's going to be a question. But in paragraph 25 of the complaint, the plaintiffs here, Gabby's parents, said that it's beyond their silence. It's the fact that they had a press conference where they lied, where they knew, according to the complaint, that Gabby was killed by their son. And yet they said, we hope the search for Miss Petito is successful and she's returned or reunited with her family. And that is what they say was intentional infliction of emotional distress.
Again, I am not at all going to sit here and stand up for the Laundries because I was out there and I also saw what the Petitos were going through during that time. But at the same time, legally speaking, didn't the Laundries have a right to just stay quiet and listen to their lawyer and not say anything?
They have the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. They can remain silent, but that's a criminal protection. That's a protection against criminal charges. This is a civil lawsuit. So they could, at the same time that they can enjoy the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination, they could actually be sued and lose a lawsuit. But this is uncharted territory. I'm not familiar with a similar case like this, but this case is full of unusual facts. I think it is unlikely for Gabby's parents to win this lawsuit. I think that it would be a victory if they could survive this motion to dismiss. But, in the end, they're going to have to show that this family, Brian's parents, owed them a duty, whether it was to say something, not to ghost them on Facebook and on the cell phone, or at least not to lie in public about what happened to Gabby. So we'll see. If it does survive a motion to dismiss, then it would be up to a jury, and that would be way down the line.
Yeah, it certainly is so bizarre that, according to the lawsuit, the Laundries literally blocked Gabby's parents' phone number and Facebook. There was something else interesting, Dave, that I noticed. The Petitos filed their lawsuit. The Laundries filed the motion to dismiss. And now the judge has given the Petitos more time to sort of bulk up their lawsuit. Is that unusual? Does that give us a glimpse into what the judge might be thinking?
No, that is actually pretty normal. What happened here is that the defense filed a motion to dismiss based on the procedural parts of the lawsuit, meaning that they said this lawsuit is not filed properly. And indeed, the lawsuit didn't claim specifically intentional infliction of emotional distress. So the judge said, hey, rewrite the lawsuit. We're going to give you time to do it. The bigger motion to dismiss, the more substantive one, will be the one where they said, even if you accept everything they're saying is true, there still is no possible way there could be intentional infliction of emotional distress. So there's a difference between the procedural motion to dismiss and the substantive one. The substantive one is for all the marbles. That's the one that could eliminate this lawsuit for good. But the procedural one, the judge will just give them a chance, just rewrite it, because the judges do that quite often.
Interesting. Do you think it is possible that the Petitos filed this lawsuit possibly knowing that they wouldn't win in the end, but because they want more information to come out through the discovery process? Because you know, Dave, there's still so much we don't know about what the Laundries knew throughout all of this, when they knew it, text messages, discussions they had. Is it possible that could come out in discovery?
Sure. And you have to feel for the parents. I mean, they just feel that they were abused by the Laundries. It was just a moral and ethical obligation to be decent human beings. This was, after all, their son's fiance who lived in their house for over a year. And yet when she went missing, they blocked her parents from communicating and allegedly lied about it. And so in the complaint, they put at least two explosive allegations. One, that the parents knew that Brian had killed Gabby because, according to the complaint, Brian admitted it to his parents. And secondly, that they were trying to help him leave the country. That's a new area. And the plaintiffs here, Gabby's parents, have said that they will be able to prove everything they put in that complaint. And if it goes to a jury, they'll need to.
Yeah, that was sort of the jaw-dropping part of the complaint for me, where they said that BrianLaundrie's parents actually knew that he killed Gabby before all of this came out. My first thought was, though, like, how could the Petito lawyers know that? How would they know that to put that in the complaint? And do they have to know it's true to put it in the complaint?
Well, they've said they're going to back it up. Now, it's not a verified complaint, and meaning that there's no sworn affidavit there, but they can put allegations that they believe are true, but they've said that they're going to show it. Now, it doesn't mean anything if they can't prove it at trial. You got to prove your allegations. So they must have some information somewhere that leads them to believe that Brian did tell the parents and that the parents did try to help him leave the country. And, if you think about it, those are the allegations that have received the most attention in this lawsuit. Even though the second allegation about leaving the country, that really doesn't have anything to do with the substance of the lawsuit. That doesn't have anything to do with an intentional infliction of emotional damages, emotional pain on the Petitos, because whether or not the family of BrianLaundrie tried to help Brian leave the country was unknown to Gabby's parents at the time, and so it could not have inflicted emotional pain upon them. But it is a salacious allegation, and as such, it's gotten this lawsuit a lot more attention than it would have otherwise.
Yeah, it certainly has. And if it's true that the Laundries were going to help him leave the country, I mean, wouldn't that be a crime? Wouldn't they be arrested for that?
If they knew that he indeed had committed a crime and killed Gabby and then tried to help him leave the country, yeah, that could be accessory after the fact. And I do not expect that charge to be filed against Brian's parents. I think this is case closed. But if new information comes out as a result of this civil lawsuit, the feds may be interested in this case again.
It is certainly going to be interesting to see how all of this plays out. Dave Aronberg, it's always good to see you. Thanks for being on tonight.
Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.